So, it's going to be a 5-game straight shootout between Manchester City and Arsenal. Let's go, boys. Welcome back to FooteaTalks, my people. I hope you're all having a beautiful day today. This video is going to be a little bit different today. Today, we are going to be previewing the title race in general. Now that we know the result between Manchester City's game in hand against Burnley, which was a 1-0 win, which no, I did not watch because I expected them to win, we now factually have a 5-game shootout. Who is going to blink first? Now, I want to offer my fellow Arsenal fans a little glimmer of hope. We have the tiniest bit of hope because Manchester City only beat Burnley 1-0. Now, you're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to think, why are you happy that Manchester City beat Burnley in the first place? Don't get me wrong, I am not happy that Manchester City beat Burnley. However, they have left that door of hope open for Arsenal fans in that they have only beaten them 1-0. So that means that we are level on goal difference. We are exactly the same in everything apart from goals scored. I think they've scored more goals, but our goal difference is exactly the same. So that means we truly have a 5-game shootout. So essentially, the title race starts now. We're both on 0 right now. We're both on 0 and the title race starts now. Who is going to win? Let's break this down. So, on the screen, I have Arsenal's remaining fixtures and Manchester City's remaining fixtures. Out of the two, you can say that Manchester City have the harder games in this run-in compared to Arsenal. However, we know that that's not how football works, especially with how Arsenal have been playing recently. Yes, we do have the easier run-in on paper, but they don't give me full confidence that they will go and win those easier games. So let's get into this. We play Newcastle on Saturday. Now, due to Manchester City being in the FA Cup, they will not play a Premier League game until May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, my Star Wars people, if you're with me. In that time, we would have played 2 Premier League games. So we have another chance and our last chance to really put pressure on Manchester City. Now, this is all hopium, guys. It's all hopium because you know what Arsenal are like, but humour me for a minute. We play Newcastle on Saturday. If we win, we'll go 3 points ahead. Of course, Manchester City will have a game in hand, but they'll be playing their FA Cup game, as we've established. We then play not Burnley. We play Fulham at home. So our next 2 Prem games are 2 home games. Not that that makes a difference, but I'm hoping that in this title run-in, the home games, the fans will be behind the boys, and that will hopefully rile them up to get the points. Point being, we have a chance to go 6 points clear of Manchester City before they play their next Premier League game on May the 4th. I cannot stress how important it is for Arsenal to win those 2 games. I feel like if we were to win those 2 games, it just puts that bit more pressure on Manchester City because they would have been playing their FA Cup game and we then play before them on the match week 30, I want to say 36 or 37. We play before them, so we have the chance to go 6 points clear. It's imperative that we do, Arsenal. Like, this is your last chance now. There are only 5 games left. There are just under 500 minutes left of football. This is it now. This is where champions are made. Either champions are made or they're not. Pressure either makes diamonds or bust pipes. We're in that mode, guys. We are in that mode. So it is imperative that Arsenal win their next 2 league games. Now, I didn't watch the game last night, but I followed it. I followed what everyone was saying on Twitter, and I'm really glad I didn't watch it because I feel like a 1-0 is worse than a 2-0. Because at 1-0, you still have that hope that Burnley could get a last-minute equaliser, or, you know, something just happens and the game turns, the tides change. And a lot of people are talking about Burnley having a last-minute corner, which could have gone in. And I'm like, yeah, spare me the grief. Spare me that grief, spare me that disappointment. I already had it in my head that Manchester City were going to win. So in my head, we're already going for a 5-game shootout. And it's exactly what we've got. However, I prepared for the worst and hoped for the best. And obviously hoping for the best would have meant them either dropping points or, on the other hand, not ramping up their goal difference so much. So this time we got the latter. We are now level on goal difference, which is a huge positive in my opinion. I've seen some City fans and some reactions to last night saying it was an opportunity missed for them. They should have bolstered up their goal difference. So they're disappointed in that. So that just shows that, you know, they're not entirely confident. There's still a chance there, still a glimmer of hope. Now, Manchester City still have to play Bournemouth and Everton and Aston Villa. Those are 3 teams where you really can't predict what's going to happen. I mean, Bournemouth beat us, but even in the return leg, the first leg at the Vitality Stadium, that was not an easy game. And, you know, Gabriel made a mistake and we ended up going 1-0 down really early and we fought back and won 3-2. But that was not an easy game. Bournemouth are not going to be an easy game for them. I can't remember if it's at home or away, actually. But it doesn't really matter. Bournemouth, they play well wherever they are, home or away. So that's not going to be an easy game. So that could be a game to watch. They also play Everton away, I believe. I believe they're away at Everton. I need to double check. And again, not an easy game. Look at what we did with Everton. We were 0-0 until like the 89th minute. Like, Everton are a good defensive team. That is not going to be an easy game. So that's another potential banana skin. And then Aston Villa on the last day. Now, Aston Villa are a tricky one because they're either really, really good or they're really, really bad. Now, people are saying, they wouldn't want to play Aston Villa on the last day. I get it, but at the same time, if they are comfortably in the top 4, which I think they should be at that point, they may not even care about the game because they've got top 4. That's all they're really going for. They would have known if they're in the Europa League final or not by that point, I presume, as well. So they might have, their mind might be on that. So that's not a good sign for Arsenal, because they might be on holiday at that point or thinking about the Europa League final if they're in it. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm chalking that one off. I think City will win that. And then when you look at Arsenal's fixtures, Newcastle and Fulham, Newcastle are not an easy team, but they're having a bit of an off year this year. Like, they get the better of some teams, but at the same time, they don't at the same time. So it's not going to be an easy game, but this is not the Newcastle of the past 2 years. So I'm hoping that we do get the win on Saturday. Fulham, I feel like Fulham, at this point in the season, a team like Fulham is a team that you want to be playing. They're safely in the Premier League. They're not going to get relegated, not going to get Europe. They're just there. So they could be on the beach already, which is good news for Arsenal. I'm hoping that is going to be a win. However, Fulham is Arsenal's B team, and the B team does like to show up. So I'm hoping they don't turn into prime Barcelona when they come to the Emirates. But I'm not going to speak that into existence. Positive vibes only. So Newcastle, Fulham. We then have Burnley at home. This could be a key game in ramping up that goal difference. I truly believe that could be the game. And I'm hoping that it is the game. Because I do think this will come down to goal difference. I'm not going to lie. I really, really do. So that's a key game. We then have Crystal Palace, which is our final game. I'm missing someone. I've said 3. We then have Crystal Palace, which is our final game of the season, away at Selhurst Park. Again, not an easy game. However, if Crystal Palace do make it to the final of the Europa Conference League, their minds could be on that because, again, they're another team when it comes to the Premier League. They're not getting relegated. They're not getting back into Europe unless they win that Conference League. So all eyes could be on that. So we could have another team that their focus is off the Premier League and we could get a win. Crystal Palace have a massive say in this title race because they've still got to play both Manchester City and Arsenal. So they're going to have a massive say on who becomes Premier League champions in this title run-in. And I'm hoping that we can get the better of them. Of course, I'm an Arsenal fan. But yeah, those are the fixtures. I know I've missed a couple. I can't see it on the screen right now, but I'm going to add it in. For people wondering, why is she missing this one? Sorry, I can't see it right now. But those are the fixtures that I can remember. And it is just a 5-game shootout. Now, a few key points to note. Rodri is injured. And he didn't play last night, with Pep saying he doesn't know when he'll be back exactly, but they're taking it day by day. I've also seen reports that they don't think it's a serious injury and that he should be back. Now, bearing in mind, there are a couple weeks between Manchester City's Premier League game yesterday and their next game. So in that time, Rodri could be back in training. He could be fully recovered. We don't know. I'm expecting that he will be, just by the reports saying that they don't expect it to be serious and they do expect him to recover. But we don't know. But I'm going to prepare for the worst and just say Rodri's going to be back. But if not, that is a huge plus for Arsenal because we know how key Rodri is to the Pep system. He is key in that midfield. So that'll be a huge boost if he's not back. But wish him a speedy recovery nonetheless. We don't like players injured. And a huge boost for Arsenal is that Timber should be back for Newcastle, so may be able to get a few minutes off the bench. And there are reports about Bukayo Saka being back as well, which I'm a bit sceptical about this one, just judging by what his injury is. I'm like, can he have recovered in that time with that injury? I'm not sure. But if he does, that is a huge, huge boost. This team misses Bukayo Saka and Timber. I really, really believe if we had both of them, we wouldn't be in this position right now. We would be a few points better off at least. So that is a huge, huge boost for Arsenal. And I'm hoping that the reports are true, that they will both be back for this title run-in. And the Champions League, because we're still in the Champions League as well. But yeah, those are huge, huge boosts for us. And if they are going to be back, we will have a definite shootout on our hands. And it's nerve-wracking, but it's exciting at the same time. Very exciting. And I think just by Manchester City only beating Burnley 1-0 last night, it has just left that little glimmer of hope amongst the Arsenal fan base that we might be able to still win this title. I'm still a bit pessimistic though. I'm just offering you guys that glimmer of hope, that there is hope and we are still very much in this title race. It just looks a bit doom and gloom at the moment from how we're playing and recent results, but It is all still there to be played for. And we're both started at 0, essentially. And it's just who can play better and get the better results in these last 5 games. And that's just how we've got to look at it. We've got to just ignore the rest of the Premier League season right now and just focus on these next 5 games, because essentially we're both starting at 0. So let's hope that Arsenal can do it and that we will be Premier League champions, hopefully. But as always, let me know your thoughts down below. How do you think this title run is going to go in? Do you think the injuries will play a part for both teams? And who do you think is going to come out on top? And what do you think of everything that I've said? How do you see the last 5 games for both teams going? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, please like, share and subscribe to FooteaTalks. We are on the road to 60 subscribers. So yeah, we're almost there, guys. So yeah, please like, share and subscribe on your way out. And I will speak to you guys very, very soon. Peace.